Start the show?
Yes, we're
Good.
ready.
This is Dr. Tony, Chiropractic Clinic in Upland. Crooked Spine Show is our podcast, our Facebook page. Link to my personal too, so you'll see both. Marley, Candace, BodymetRx, you guys are going to be on the show today. And the reason I want you on the show, and I went through your Facebook page and I went through your website and your Instagram too. People understand that they want to work out, right? They have to work out to get healthy, to look good, to feel good. The problem is sometimes people work out too much or not enough, so you don't see results.
Right.
People they get frustrated, I would assume, because they work out so much and the results are not getting there. You guys offer testing, nutritional counseling, things like that allows people to understand how to get healthy in an efficient way.
Right.
People don't have time these days. They don't have hours to spend going for walks, going for runs, maybe at the gym. How they work out efficiently and understanding why they have to do that allows them to become a better, not only athlete if they want to, but also a healthier person inside and outside, mentally and physically, along with being a good companion for their family, for one, two, or kids. Right. So walk me through your services and what you guys offer. When did you start everything? When was it first established?
So I started this business in 2015 because I personally found that there was a need to understand what your body needed, exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
So I researched out the best equipment I could get my hands on, and essentially we are not a franchise. We get asked that a lot.
You made it into almost a franchise look in a sense where it's go, go, go.
Right.
Very efficient.
So, top secret, I made this all up and pieced together everything, and I have an amazing staff, and together we can really help people with athletic performance, weight loss, muscle gain. Perfect. Everything. So the first thing we need to know is what is going on, what is your baseline? So we do offer body composition analysis, which is going to tell us, you get a 3-page detailed report. It's going to tell us what is going on inside your body. So, how much fat you have, how much muscle, visceral fat, hydration, cellular health, all of that. So as you're addressing, if you're starting some type of workout program and that scale is not dropping, you could be gaining muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat, and you could be losing fat, but it's not reflected on that scale.
Got it.
We offer a 3D scan, which is really cool. It takes all of your body surface measurements like a tape measure would.
Okay.
So over a progression of multiple assessments, we can track how many inches you have gained or lost, and it develops a 3D image of your body, so you can finally give yourself credit.
Well, it gives you, okay, my long-term goal is here. Mm-hmm. How do I see these short-term goals going to allow your overall person to see the benefit and keep you motivated, keep you going, right?
Right, exactly. So that's great if you shop online. It's 100% accurate measurements. You can shop online too.
Exactly.
Another thing that we offer, we do some sports performance testing. So we do VO2 max testing, which on our website is optimal fat burning and optimal athletic performance.
What does VO2 max mean?
So the VO2
I
max,
know, but they just don't know maybe.
that, and so we have an optimal fat burning test because it's your body's ability to utilize oxygen.
Good. The
better you are, the more fit you are cardiovascularly. For most of us, though, just wanting to lose fat, we also have a CO2 sensor on there. So when fat is being burned, you're actually exhaling CO2. So as your heart rate is increasing incrementally, we can find exactly where your body burns the most amount of fat.
That's great.
So for me personally, 140 beats per minute, I burn 90% fat. So that's me walking on the treadmill briskly at an incline.
Okay.
I'm not dying, and for me it's boring, so I will do social media type of things on my phone to make the time go. You can still breathe, you
can still function at a normal, relaxed state per se.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So then when we're looking at the athletes, we can see when people transition from going aerobic to anaerobic. So
what does that mean?
That's where they start turning into not using oxygen. It's getting harder and harder for them. So we can design a plan to keep them right underneath that threshold so they can go longer, essentially.
And what does it mean for most people when they go to anaerobic? They're using more carbon dioxide, are they wearing down the muscle faster, are they causing more muscle damage?
So what we want to look at is when they start going anaerobic, most people start burning predominantly carbohydrates.
Okay.
So yes, if people are not fueled adequately, they will eventually burn their muscle. Through their muscle. So if they're not eating enough carbs, which we'll talk more about that with Candace.
I thought carbs are bad.
Well, and one of the things that you have to understand is the body burns fat in the presence of oxygen. It's called beta oxidation. And so if a person's not getting adequate oxygen, then they're not going to be burning fat. Their heart's actually just overworking. So what I commonly see is individuals that are out of shape, and they're like, okay, you know, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to start working out. Yeah, and they just put the pedal to the metal, and their body is actually burning muscle rather than fat because they're going into the anaerobic zone.
I've done that.
And I mean, it's one of those things, like, we're thinking, like, I need to train harder and faster, but those people are seeing they're losing muscle mass rather than the fat mass, because the fat needs oxygen.
When they may feel more fatigued afterwards, not put up the energy level,
Definitely.
now they're wearing down their body, not think they're doing the right thing,
Right.
but then naively they're doing the wrong thing.
Right.
So just to recap on that too, by staying under your VO2 max, you're able to burn more fat because you're using oxygen to do that versus wearing out your muscle and burning your muscle.
Right.
Wow.
And this is the other thing, that diet mentality is, okay, I'm going to exercise hard and I'm going to eat less. And so then the body's like, well, you're not overworking me. So then you have a catabolism, which is a breakdown of muscle. And so then it lowers the resting metabolic rate, which is metabolism.
When you go into a stress state, where mentally and physically your body's hormonal, chemical, and neurological changes, so now you become less efficient, even making your body more sick and more staying in that stress.
Cortisone levels go up, and so people are like, why am I not losing weight? Because your cortisol's up, and then you're not burning fat, you're burning muscle, and then your metabolism's dropping, so you're actually at the gym, eating less, gaining weight.
That's frustrating.
I know.
Perfect.
That's frustrating. That's why the one month membership in January happens.
Yep.
Right.
I'd assume.
Yes.
Wow.
So what Candace is talking about, we're able to see how much muscle you have in your arms and your legs and your torso. So when people, you know, they want to drop 10 pounds of fat this week, the problem is that they are in fact losing muscle. And Candace has a statistic about how many calories you burn for every pound of muscle, right?
Right. So naturally, as we get older, our bodies naturally are losing muscle mass, because that's just what happens. If we don't use our muscle, we lose our muscle. And 1 pound of muscle burns 50 calories per pound per day. So let's say in 5 years, I lose 3 pounds of muscle mass just because that's what naturally happens to our body as we get older. At 1 day, per day, I'm not burning 150 calories. So in 1 year, my diet's the same, I'm still walking my shaggy little dog every morning, but because I've lost my muscle mass, I'm putting on at least 15 pounds a year.
Wow. And people don't realize it's just naive. I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you gain that back then? What do you do?
You have to exercise, you have to strength train. And we're scared, a lot of people are scared to strength train. You know, the cool thing though about strength training is you're never too old to strength train. Some people are like, well, I'm in my 60s or my 70s, I'm not gonna be able to gain muscle. Yeah, you can, actually. The other thing is, muscle has memory. So if you've had that muscle, it's easier to get that muscle back. But strength training is a really important part of building bone mass. It helps with osteoblast, which is building muscle. The pulling action against the bone with the muscle makes that bone get bigger and stronger.
When someone works out and builds muscle, will they be sore?
They should be.
Good. So people don't realize sometimes, I work with seniors sometimes, they don't want to get sore, but they want to stay healthy.
Right.
You're going to be, I want to call it uncomfortable.
Right, and it's like a scab. Like muscle is like a scab. It's like an injury, and then you get a scab. And I remember when I was a little kid, I'd always like lose scabs, and then I'd get a new scab, and then I would lose that scab, and then it would build a scar tissue. But that's what muscle is. We have to rip that muscle down, and then the scar tissue is the build up of that new muscle.
It gives you more surface area, so overall time you can actually have a deeper muscle and a stronger muscle too.
Right.
Great. Good. And with nutrition for one too, how does nutrition take into portion? Do we exercise more to build strength and worry about nutrition at the same time, or how do we do that?
So actually, BodymetRx has an amazing test. It's called RMR, resting metabolic rate. It tells us how many calories you're burning if you were in a coma. So basically, what your body needs.
But you don't want to be in a coma.
You don't want to be in a coma.
Okay, got it. Avoid the coma.
But basically, how many calories your body would need.
It's a Dylan.
It's a call.
Oh gosh. I'll forget my phone eventually. Go ahead, sorry.
How many calories your body would need if you were basically just sleeping and doing nothing?
Okay.
And so a lot of times people are eating under what their body needs, and so the body sees that as starvation.
Exactly.
And so if I'm not eating enough calories, my body goes into preservation. Like, well, you know what? This person's not feeding me, so I'm not going to burn. And you become a better storer than a burner.
Oh, okay.
And so the resting metabolic rate test is individualized for each and every person based on, like Marley was talking about, your CO output. We're looking at exactly how many calories your body burns. And based on that number, we can calculate based on what your goals are, or maybe what your disease state is, or what you're looking to obtain. We can figure out carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And that's personally what I do for BodymetRx, is I get these numbers from Marley, or from Kirsten, or from Daniel, and I figure out what the patient or what the client's goals are, and I break it down into grams of carbohydrate, grams of protein, grams of fat. That's going to essentially give them a fat burn, a muscle build, a heart that's healthy.
Wow.
We're not just looking at weight here, we're looking at health. And that's really what's important is, you know, not only are these tests giving us resting metabolic rate, but they're also telling you, are you hydrated enough? Most people are walking around dehydrated. The other thing is, most people are walking around and they're overtrained. So
What does that mean?
They're training too hard and they're not eating enough, and that test will tell us that.
Wow.
We'll see that in the cellular health aspect.
Yes.
And when we talk about protein, carbs, and fat, is it we should eat more protein than carbs to burn more fat, or how does that work? How does the ratios work?
So there's actually a saying, I learned it in college. I learned it from one of the docs that I've admired my whole life. But he used to say, fat burns in the flame of a carbohydrate. So what that means is when you're looking at the metabolism, your body needs carbohydrate to burn fat. It's part of the Krebs cycle. And so usually most people need anywhere between 40 to 55 grams of carbohydrate percentage-wise of their entire calorie intake.
What's a good carbohydrate for just a normal person going to a grocery store?
Okay, that's a great question. So
Try to have some good ones. Just two per show.
okay, so I'm gonna keep it real super basic, okay? So let's say I had a piece of paper, and let's say I had a log, right? They both came from a tree. One is very processed, the paper. One is just cut down, not much different from a tree.
Yeah.
So the paper, I throw it in the fire, it's immediately gonna burn up and turn into ash. The log, it's sustainable energy, which means it's gonna burn over a period of time. So we have to look at carbohydrate the same way. So if I'm getting brown rice, that's gonna be a whole grain carbohydrate. It's gonna act like the log would. Whereas if I got white rice or sushi rice that has sugar added into it, it's gonna act like a piece of paper. The problem with that is the faster it turns into sugar, the faster my body converts it into fat.
Yep. So the glycolysis cycle then too
exactly.
goes right through that.
Exactly. So we're looking at sweet potatoes, we're looking at red potatoes, we're looking at russet potatoes. Those are okay. Brown rice, quinoa.
They're okay, but is there a certain quantity you want to stay within though too? That's,
right. A quarter of your plate, I mean, at most meals should be about where you're at.
Okay.
So for most people, a small to a medium potato. But really, what are you putting on your potato? Are you putting butter on your potato, sour cream on your potato, bacon bits on your potato? Really, that's...
Let's go down that rabbit hole too. Why do people put so much stuff on their potato or fruits or vegetables or steak, whatever they do? Why do people do that?
Because our taste buds are tainted.
Huge.
And most people have tainted taste buds, which means if they were just to eat a regular, beautiful potato, when they taste it, they're so used to fat, they're so used to sugar that they taste it and it tastes like nothing. But if you can detox and you can change those taste buds, it takes about 30 days to change those taste buds, then you actually will start tasting food for what it's worth. You'll be able to see the sweetness of an orange or of an apple, or you'll be able to taste the sweetness in broccoli.
Huge.
You know, I have a doc that I'm working with right now, just converted from totally like meat-based to totally, like he did a 180 plant-based. He goes, Candace, the biggest thing I've seen in the last 2 weeks is I can taste my food. Like the fruit is almost too sweet. And it's amazing. Most people, they're so used to salt and sugar
What kind
and
of
fat.
sauce are you going to throw in there? What kind of sauce today? Barbecue sauce, whatever it is.
Right.
So how do you, and that may stress somebody out, how do you get them to slowly convert over to that? What's a good way to do that?
Cut your condiments in half.
Okay.
A lot of times I tell people to use the coconut aminos. Those are slightly sweet, but it's a natural sweetness from coconut. It doesn't have the fat in there, it's just an extraction. So those work really great. They have no sodium in it. Using a lot of herbs, fresh herbs have tons and tons and tons of flavor. Lemon mimics salt on the taste buds. So if you spray some lemon on like a potato or some broccoli or some green beans, it's actually going to enhance the flavor and make it taste salty.
It's awesome. And people just don't know this. That's the thing, by having lemon in your house, by having even just dried ingredients around the house too, like parsley, cilantro, whatever it is, gives you that quick fix.
Right.
Versus having to put a sauce that has high sugar, processed, things that are not good for you overall. So you're negating the negative effect, putting something that's natural, allow your body to get used to that. Oh, again, 30 days.
Yeah.
Don't say it's a weekend.
No.
It's going to take time for your body to change, not only from your taste buds, but your whole overall body too.
Yeah.
With a diet change, how long does it take to see an effect in your body from the diet change with, say, maintaining the same amount of workout?
At least 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
And what you do this week takes a whole week to show up. So I see this a lot with people, they'll eat healthy for a week, they'll get on the scale and they're like, Candace, it's not working, the scale didn't move.
It's only been one day.
It's been one day, and I'm
We're
like,
not miracle workers here.
I'm not getting into my skinny jeans I bought. So then what will happen is people will be like, forget this, I'm not eating this healthy food, I'm going back to my In-N-Out, my, Chipotle, all of that stuff. And so they'll eat like that all week. They get on the scale. What do you think happens?
They actually maintain, correct?
Or lose.
Because
that new scale weight is a reflection of what they did the whole week before. Right? So then they see it as, oh, see, I ate In-N-Out and I had Chipotle and I had my chips and I actually lost weight.
So psychologically, they've psyched themselves out that
Right.
I don't have to do this.
Exactly.
Wow. So, I tell people too, 5 weeks minimum to even look at results.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to go through that pain phase, if you want to call it, or uncomfortable phase, to go, hey, look, my body's transitioning, give it time to transition, and then I'll see results.
And the side effect of your healthy changes in your exercise your side effect should be weight loss, not the focus.
Got it. Okay.
So it's just a side effect of what's going to happen. It shouldn't be like, no, I'm succeeding when I lose weight.
Don't look for that result.
Right.
Look for what you're doing to get there.
Exactly.
And also going from carbs to proteins, what are good proteins to look for or go into that be different than the normal American diet of burgers and steaks and things like that?
So the thing about protein is it's not so much fat. It is, but then it's not. In the new American Heart Association put out guidelines for red meat, including pork, and the serving size is 2 4-ounce servings per month.
You're like, that is one
I know.
double.
Yeah.
What do I do? I get those every day.
And the problem is not the fat, like I said.
Yes.
The problem, there's a component in red meat called myoglobin, and myoglobin is highly inflammatory, which is increasing inflammation in the body, and which is putting people at risk for cardiovascular disease. So it's one of those things, you're not going to see cardiovascular disease develop in a week. It's going to happen over a period of time.
Decades.
Right. So we're looking at, okay, where is our protein sourced from? What is our protein being fed?
Yeah.
Is it chickens walking around a giant, ranch being fed like grain and food, or are they being actually just fed from the ground?
Yeah.
So those things make a huge difference. I think we should go back to more of the caveman days where we're eating meat as a condiment. If you are going to have that protein, it should be the condiment. And most people I see that aren't losing weight and Marley had just texted me about someone, the same thing, was hitting a plateau. And you have to keep in mind that 60% of protein still converts into sugar. And when I eat too much protein, that extra protein doesn't make my muscles grow more. It gets converted into fat.
Into sugar, then fat. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not going to lose the weight if that's going to be your initial goal.
Right.
Going in here, at that point, what you want to do.
Well, as Americans, we've been taught, you know what? I'm hungry. Protein's safe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get fat when I eat protein.
What's that diet called that focuses on just protein?
Well, paleo?
Paleo or
well,
keto?
Ketogenic.
Ketogenic.
Okay.
Ketogenic is actually not a high protein diet. Most people are all doing it incorrectly. Ketogenic was a diet that was originated from neurological diseases, people who have had seizures.
Okay.
So those should be the people that are using the ketogenic diet. I know it's one of those topics that's hot up for discussion, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of controversy about that, but I think the thing is, you will lose weight on ketogenic diet, but what's going to happen to your heart in the process?
Yeah.
You know?
And liver.
Right. I'm going to end up with
Kidneys.
gallstones. I'm going to end up with gallbladder attacks. I'm going to get gout. I'm going to get kidney stones. You know, I'm going to get buildup and plaque in my vessels. What is that going to do to the body?
Huge. And a lot of it is when you look at, do you want to just drop the weight, or do you want to change how you think about food and exercise and what you're doing to your body and test it to make sure you're doing the right things long term?
Right.
Not this year, next year, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
And we have that struggle in here because I'll tell people, you know, it's a mindset thing. You have to be in it for the long haul because you don't want to lose 10 pounds this week because you're going to gain 20 back next week is what's going to happen. These diets and these fads are they're very unsustainable long term, but we're impatient as a society. I'm the same way, but you have to be patient. And you guys, you know, obviously you guys are right on about 5 weeks. You have to wait and let that scale.
I'd even give me most
Catch
people
up.
that I do interviews with that are in health, give yourself 3 months
Yes.
for your body
Yep.
to change to a normal, to a different standard, so that's your new homeostatic or balance point in your body.
Right. And it takes
I like the
a
word
little...
yes, you guys will be uniform in that, so get down the course.
Yes. No. The other thing is, it takes your body a little time to trust the process. You know, like if you're skipping meals, your body naturally is so amazing that your liver glycogen dumps out sugar when the body is not getting energy from an external source, such as food. So if my body every morning is dumping out glycogen from my liver, and then all of a sudden I start eating sugar, my body's
Whoa.
kind of like, what's going on? Now my blood sugar's high, you know, and the body has to trust, like, oh, never mind, I don't have to do that job anymore because
It'll
Candace is feeding me
self-regulate.
now.
It'll self-regulate what it can do.
Right,
Yeah.
and then your body starts converting into to breakdown rather than storage.
Huge.
So it's one of the main things you have to focus on if you're just starting out is you have to try to eat within 1 hour. And I know we're
1 hour
so of waking up.
Got it.
Sorry, I should have mentioned
I
that.
want to make sure I didn't know. I missed it. Make sure.
But the thing, like, I have people all the time, they're like, well, I wake up at 4 o'clock. Well, then your breakfast needs to be before 5. Like, we get so standardized. Like, people are like, well, it's snack time, it's 3. Well, no,
They're on the
snack
clock.
time should be
Yeah.
according to what your body needs, not according to the clock.
The word clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So,
And I think a lot of it is when people realize, how do I adjust what my lifestyle, if I have a different lifestyle than most people that are not 9 to 5, how do I make sure I'm working within my body's ability to get healthier? And if you want to lose weight the right way and work out the right amount. What's a good amount for someone, and it's probably hard to tell, to work out per week? What's the number of hours, or how do you I guess give someone an average?
the recommendation's 150 minutes a week, and that's just for survival. That would be like, I want to avoid cavities in my teeth, I need
Yeah.
to brush twice a day. For weight loss, you really need to be closer to 300 minutes.
What's 150? How many?
26 minutes a day.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a good math person. It's about 30 minutes a day per
Yeah.
se.
Mhm.
And then if you want to lose weight, you said how many?
It's about 300 minutes a week, which
Wow.
comes out to almost 60 minutes.
Okay, 60 minutes every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that needs to be a combination of both strength training and cardiovascular exercise. Cardiovascular exercise, your body doesn't usually start for a normal person. This is not for an athlete. but for a normal person, your body doesn't start usually burning fat for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
So in the first 20 minutes, your body is burning sugar, as you had mentioned. After that, your body starts tapping into fat cells. And that's why at like a 25-minute workout, it gets really hard because it's hard for your body to take fat and to convert it into energy.
Got it. Takes time.
Yeah, and most people, they're, at the beginning, they're like, I'm going to walk on the treadmill 15 minutes, and then I'll maybe do some crunches. And right when their body is getting ready to convert into fat, they're tapped out. And so they start building muscle underneath their fat, but they're not burning their fat layer off, so their stomach is actually appearing larger.
That's not good.
I know.
Everybody has abs somewhere.
Yeah.
That's a good news. We all have abs.
Somewhere.
Everyone.
We're talking about working out for that hour per se to lose, if someone wants to lose weight. What's the ratio of weights to cardio, or what type of VO2 max do you want to hit, or how do you judge that?
It depends on the testing, really. It's individualized. The new hot trend right now that is actually outstanding is HIIT training, high intensity interval training. You go from a high to a low, high level training to a lower intensity, and it actually confuses the body a little bit and puts the body in quicker fat burn mode.
So it gets there to 10 minutes, not 20 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to mention was when you become more fit, you actually start burning fat sooner.
Yes.
So that's the other frustrating part is people who have prediabetes, or we used to call it metabolic syndrome X, or if you're overweight or if you have diabetes, it's harder for your body to convert energy into
Because your
fat.
blood sugar is always there.
Right.
And this month, it's funny that you bring that up, we actually are doing custom HIIT plans, custom fat burning programs when you come in and you do a VO2 test, which is optimal fat burning for most of us. The optimal athletic performance is going to be geared more towards those endurance athletes, but it takes all of your data and it merges it with a custom program for you, so we can give you, hey, if you're working out at home or a regular gym, it's all there for you, and you just have to follow the heart rate. And side note too,
Sure.
if you have a chest strap, a little bit more accurate than say like my Fitbit here. So
Right.
it's definitely worth investing in if you want to figure out how to burn more fat based off your body specifically, not 220 minus your age and then start
No.
taking percentages.
Well, a lot of it is people just don't know and they want to be efficient.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm going to go to the gym for 20 minutes today, so I'll have time for it. I'll do some cardio, some weights, and I'm at it.
Yeah.
They don't realize what's your long-term goal. Why? Sometimes it may be better not even to go.
Yeah.
If you're going to just not waste time there, but stress yourself out, go above your VO2 max, then you start breaking down your body versus helping your body just to get your workout in.
Right.
Wow. And with the work you do here, the services you offer, that allows people to have an efficient workout at home, at the gym, or on the road. So at that point they control their own diet, they control their own health benefits. They see that short term and long term.
Yeah. And we really tell people, what should I be doing? First tell me what you like doing. And then we're going to build everything around you. Because I can't tell you to go do CrossFit or go do bar or go become a triathlete because that's better. No, what you're going to do and what you enjoy doing is better. We just need to find all the puzzle pieces of your body, make sure you're getting your nutrition on track, and then implement that heart rate piece. And then it's off to the races. You're doing what you like to. If you don't like strength training, we'll have to have a little discussion about that because that is important and it's an intimidating thing, and we understand that.
It's not a cultural accepted thing. I mean, I'm assuming more for women, especially too,
Right.
is why do I want to be over there with the men that are lifting weights? I should be over here with the women over here.
Right.
So it's that transition of, okay, what's best for my body? How do I do it either at the gym or at home? And how do I do enough to make sure I'm getting the overall benefit?
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of women are scared of being bulky. It takes a lot to be bulky. Like, you have to be really lifting hard and eating a lot of protein to
Very
get
heavy.
bulky. Yeah.
And you probably have to be on.
Yeah, it's
Stuff.
it's
Which is-
high testosterone.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. In women, I did an interview with a guy who runs a private gym. Women aren't meant to have that bulk.
Right.
You have to either take a supplement like testosterone
Right.
Yep.
that men have to get that bulk in your body. But if you're eating a normal, healthy diet, and you guys can adjust people's diets here, at that point you should actually get your body to where it looks healthier, leaner, and more athletic, not just for weight loss too.
Right. And I think the other thing we need to consider are people's goals. I think sometimes people make goals, but they're not willing to live their goal. I always refer this back to a house. Like, yeah, I would love to buy $1 million house, and I could probably do it if I sold everything that I had, but I can't afford to live there. I can't afford the electricity and the gas and the furniture. And a lot of people, they say, you know, I want to be 135, but I really don't want to work out, and I don't really want to eat very healthy, and I don't want to give up alcohol, and I don't want to not eat fast food. They're willing to have that goal, but they're not willing to live at that goal.
And I'm going to call making the sacrifices, but what are you going to adjust in your lifestyle and stick to that, so 3 months down the line you're going to see these results. And people, as they watch TV or whatever it is, 30-day this and you're going to lose 80 pounds. You know, that's, people buy into that American dream, if you want to call it that, versus putting in the work.
Right.
And how does it affect someone mentally and physically when they go through your program and see the results? How kind of change you see attitude-wise or the mind?
I think that once people follow it and they trust the process of, you might gain a few pounds, you might lose a few pounds, that whole metabolic adaptation setting in, you're gaining muscle, you know, you should be maybe happy sometimes that you gain weight on the scale. This just happened to me. I'm tracking my weight for a competition, but needless to say, I've gained a couple pounds. It's muscle, but my body fat percentage went down. So I'm leaner and I'm stronger. So my...
How did you know that?
Yeah, because of one of our tests here when we test your body composition.
I want to make sure you do that.
Body composition. Thank you. So, and I think that when you're following something and you're giving yourself permission, like, hey, I am good enough to eat good, healthy food. And food is not like, oh, I'm going to get fat because I ate that, or it's not that negative mentality. You become a better person overall. I know for myself, when I'm healthy, I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife. Hopefully, I'm a better boss in here. You can ask my employees later off camera. I pay them to say yes. Anyways, it's better, and people can see that. And when we get those people in here that have done, especially our coaching program, where they have Candace or they have Caitlin on their side for 8 weeks that are coaching them, maybe they lose 2% in 8 weeks, and most people think that's it. But really, they feel so much better, and they're happier, and they're healthier. Their clothes fit better.
They have a better relationship with food.
Yes,
because they're actually like, oh my gosh, I can eat toast. Like I can eat a whole grain slice of toast, or I can have a potato. Whereas a lot of people have been avoiding those foods because we've always been told, no, they're going to make you fat. Don't eat them. That's bad food. You know.
Bananas cause belly fat that pops up everywhere.
Well, a lot of these people just don't know, so they may go up and down in their own mind when they do their own, if you want to call, look online and do their own quick fixes of how to eat. They're not going to see, they get so frustrated. You come in here, you give yourself, what I'm assuming, 3 months minimum to see the results. Not only are you physically better, but neurologically, chemically, hormonally, your body's more relaxed and stronger and leaner, so your attitude gets better.
Exactly.
Your ability to tolerate more stress gets better. Not as gradual with your employees.
Yes, exactly.
Things like that.
And we have a membership set up that saves you 25%. So it's broken up into monthly increments. That's so we can see you every quarter. So oftentimes what happens is, say you come to us and you're 200 pounds and you need 2,500 calories. In about 3 months, exactly what we're talking about, most people will plateau and they'll hit a wall. And they're frustrated, right? They're mad at their trainer, their gym, or whatever. They're doing everything the same. They're eating the same, but now they're stuck. So they quit the gym, they quit their trainer, they Groupon hop and try something else or starve themselves. What's happened is metabolic adaptation, right? So their body is changing. Maybe they've lost some fat. Maybe they don't need as many calories because now they're 180 pounds. So we retest your metabolism at that point, and maybe you've cleaned up your diet. Maybe you're burning more fat, less carbs, whatever that looks like. Maybe your fitness has improved. We can see that on your test as well. And then we reassess your diet. And at that point A to B, now we're at point B to C. So throughout the course of a year, we can really help you maintain that static weight loss. And you can love your gym because it's not the gym. It's not, it's your body. And you just don't know, right? How am I going to look at you?
Your body will transition to someone who is lethargic and a couch potato. When they start working out, 3 months later, their whole body's going to change. You have to recalibrate from there and from there. If they have a lifestyle change or a work change where they have to drive an hour to work back to where they did before, now their whole lifestyle's changed. They have to eat differently. They have to eat on the road, whatever it is too. So getting that check-in per se every quarter allows your body to, okay, where am I now? Where are my goals now? Where do I have to change in my life, my eating, my working out? now that I've had this happen to me or something else happen?
Right.
So how do you adjust that? And doing that quarterly allows them, as any membership should, an annual checkup of what's going on.
And what's great about the meal planning and Candace doing that is that everything here is individualized. It's very customized. We don't hand you papers and shove you out the door. We want to make sure that you understand everything, and then it is all custom to you. So likes, dislikes, allergies, intolerances, macronutrients, micronutrients, all of that is designed by Candace. There's a lot that goes into it. We're not just shooting you off a template that says, you're a 40-year-old woman, you're 150 pounds, eat this.
This is food you can buy in a grocery store, correct?
Right.
Even down to seasonal. So she's not going to give you chili in June
Right.
because that's what her
I like chili
template.
in June.
I know. Well,
Is that a can though?
oh, see, there you go. Do
But
it.
the
Don't do
thing
that.
is, it's not even about also just macronutrients, it's about micronutrients. It's about looking at,
Fiber.
you know, magnesium and making sure I'm getting enough fiber and making sure I'm getting the right potassium and the sodium levels aren't too low. I just had a client that I was working with has to follow a low sodium diet. So I had to make sure that everything was within a certain limit for her sodium. I mean, I'm a certified diabetes educator, so I deal with diabetics, I deal with athletes, I deal with heart disease, I deal with hypertension, I deal with Crohn's, colitis, all the different elements that come
So
with
you can use what they're coming in with. If I've had this problem in my life, how do I get back on track?
Right,
How do I get back to my what I feel good at
right,
because I had this health condition happen to me?
yeah,
That allows them to come in here and see you and go, okay, I was on this diet, it worked, but now it feels like things are going well. How do I adjust that before we even have a problem?
right,
That's phenomenal. You're able to really work with people their whole life,
right.
per se. At that point, if they're 20s or their 40s, you see the overall benefit.
And it's medical nutrition therapy. I mean, medical
phenomenal.
nutrition therapy is a prescription just like you would get penicillin or just like you would get any other, you know, medication. And that's why really dietitians need to be doing meal planning. Is anyone can do meal planning, but legally only dietitians can do meal planning. And so it's important to make sure that you know the credentials of the persons that are giving you nutrition advice.
Huge.
You know, because one thing can be off and you do it for a long period of time and now you have a new problem. Now you're developing kidney stones because you're eating too much oxalate, you know, or maybe you start getting gout because your protein levels are too high. And now you can't work out because your toes hurt and you have all these problems.
And when you work with someone being a dietitian, do you worry about what kind of medications they're on to take
Yes.
it to effect?
I ask all those questions because
Good.
I want to know if they're on thyroid medication, because then I take them off cruciferous vegetables. I want to know if they're on a hypertensive because there's some supplements that I can offer or recommend that may help with that to work better. I look at supplements. I look at protein powders, making sure it's a clean protein powder, making sure that the protein's not going above what they should be getting. So there's all those aspects that I'm trying to look at: relationships with food, goals, medical conditions,
It's a lot of work.
everything. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. I'm tired just hearing it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
know,
fun.
Well, and a lot of it is when you do that, do people start getting healthier where they get off their medications too
Yes.
as a result?
Yes.
By doing that, what I'm not going to get medication for everyone, but can you get off because now you've adjusted your body to work properly, so you don't need that medication.
Right.
And people won't realize that is when you get off medications, now you become accountable for your own health. Versus relying on a medication to do that for you.
Right. Well, and most people out eat their lipid medication. You know, they're like, oh yeah, I can have a cheeseburger. I'm on, you know, like a statin. I'm gonna go ahead and just eat mine because that's why I take medication. But it doesn't. The statin isn't for that.
And people are not.
Yeah.
It's not they just don't know.
Mhm.
They'll go, well, I'm taking this. That's why I don't need to do this.
Right.
So by really, hey, this is actually the science behind that. This is why your body's wearing itself down long term by taking this long term if you don't need it permanently, unless you have type 1 diabetes, which most people don't.
Right.
At that point, how do you get them to mentally accept that?
Mentally accept what?
Being able to get off their medications for, say, a lipid or something like that because you're healthier now.
It usually takes a while to get to that point, and so by the time they get to that point, they're ready. Like most of the people that I see that get off their medication, it's usually titrated down. Like they'll come in, maybe they have type 2 diabetes, they're on a metformin and they're on max dose metformin, and the doctor says they go to the doctor and they're like,
them.
right, and they're like, your A1C's a lot lower, and they're like, yeah, I've been getting dips in my blood sugars. You know, hey, what's going on? You know, I've been exercising, I've been eating healthier. So let's bring, the doctor ends up bringing the dose of metformin down, and pretty soon they get to the point where the doctor's like, you know what, you've got this. I don't need to do this. So it's usually not something like you go to the doctor and it's like, oh, you're awesome, you're off your medication. It's usually a titration where they titrate you off of that medication. And sometimes, you know, you're on that medication, maybe it's family history. Maybe you're exercising every single day. This is my mom personally. My mom exercises every day. She eats a very healthy diet. No matter what, her cholesterol is higher just because of family history. That's 50%.
And when you know your results, when you're being tested, especially blood work, allows you to realize, how do I, even though I feel good, I'm doing well, my blood is my, if you want to call it, history of what can happen in the future. So why not control that now with something if I need to?
Well, and you know, genetics is a loaded gun. The environment pulls the trigger. Huge. So you have 50% chance of controlling what your genetics are. You know, 50% of it is what it is, and you only have control what you have control of. And
epigenetics is huge too.
Yes.
Epigenetics, where you actually can stimulate a gene if you eat a right way or a wrong way.
And change your genes.
Huge.
Yes.
Huge. It's just people don't realize that. But it takes time. You know, what I really want to tell people is when you do something like this, and with the testing, and when you commit yourself to a certain diet, give yourself the time, the 3 months minimum, even though people say less, even 6 months sometimes, to see the long-term and short-term results you want to get. And by doing testing in between, so like you guys do, allows them to see those incremental motivational goals they're reaching, so they can get that, okay, I've gotten here, but I want to get there, but I take these little steps first.
Right, and all of your lipid panel, all of your A1C testing, your blood sugar testing, those will not make any difference for 3 months.
Huge.
You're not going to see, you can't tell your doc, hey doc, it's been 3 weeks, you know, can you go ahead and test my cholesterol? There's not going to be a change.
You mentioned that earlier too, where your body is very smart.
Yeah. It
can adjust for a long time. It goes, you know what, you want this? Well, let's go back to this.
Yeah.
It takes the time.
It does.
I mean, it's not a quick fix for anybody. So when you give yourself that window, and for 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60, even older, give yourself time to adjust with the exercising, with the testing, and with nutrition, so your taste buds change, so your body changes.
Yep.
But the body results, like you had mentioned, may take 3 months minimum to see those results.
Exactly.
Anything else for our first show?
I don't have anything else
I don't have
to
anything
add.
either.
We have
I mean, I
plenty
could
of
sit
stuff
here
to
and
add,
talk
but yeah.
for 8 hours.
And what kind of
That's a
athletes
good
do you,
start.
what kind of athletes do you work with here? What kind of athletes?
So,
Besides the normal folk like myself.
yeah, and that is the bulk of our clients coming in here, right?
Okay.
We're just everyday people. We're all not, you know, crushing lots of sports goals.
Not on TV.
No, we're not on TV, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Kirsten that's with us. She is a golf pro. She is TPI certified, so we do some functional screening movements for golfers, so that we can, and you will appreciate that.
Yes. I'm a hacker, not a golfer.
Yeah, so she can look at those types of things and recommend maybe you do need to see a chiropractor, maybe you need to do some type of stretching, things like that. We have a personal trainer on staff, Daniel, so he's very informed about exercise programming, things like that. You can reach out to him, ask him questions. We also have John, who is our sports performance specialist. He deals a lot with the cycling community and jiu-jitsu and moto and those types of things. So we offer FTP testing, VO2 max testing on your bike. You can bring your own bike in here and we can hook it up to a trainer, a smart trainer, and if you're training with power versus training with heart rate, we can build you out programs for that as well. So we have a lot going on here. We can talk about plenty of things for days, and we can talk to each one of them individually depending on
Well, a lot of these people
what their
want to
interests are.
not just be in the gym.
Right.
So having a golf instructor, someone who does sports, martial arts, 1-2, or bikes, allows the adaptability to go, hey, whatever year's going on, we can find someone for you for that. You're not just a one-stop shop type of place.
Right.
So not many people want to go out there. This is in California, at least this is where we are right now. It's probably sunny 99% of the time here.
Right.
So can you enjoy the outside, plus go gym if you need to get that weight training in there, but allow your body to enjoy, like you had mentioned, what do you do now?
Yeah.
And how do you make that more efficient? So with diet, allows your body to stay healthy short-term and long-term and look and feel good for a long time.
Yeah.
Forever and ever, as they say.
Definitely.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else for your first show?
Make sure you drink plenty of water.
What's water? Why do you need water for?
Water
Coffee.
hydrates all of our cells, and a lot of times people who don't have energy, they seek caffeine, and caffeine's a diuretic,
Yes.
and so it's going to cause you to lose more water, and so the cells actually get energized when they are hydrated. So water is so important. I usually tell most of my clients, drink until you have pale yellow urine. It's going to be dependent on most of us. I mean, we might all be different. You know, some people might need 64 ounces, some people might need 90 ounces. But
Based on your work environment, your
Right.
drive time, everything you do too.
Right, definitely.
And that's actually something on our body composition test. We're actually able to see if you're adequately hydrated. If you have more water outside your cells, you're inflamed, you're overtraining, you're doing all those things, and that's just one component of that we can say probably not drinking enough water.
And that's the thing is people just don't know.
Right.
And when they have that feeling of I need energy, what am I going to do?
Right.
And going the normal route like coffee or a Rockstar or a Red Bull, people just go there. So how do you adjust their mentality? Hey, I want to get healthier. You're gonna have to stop doing this or start doing this.
Yeah.
Give yourself that time and commitment.
Yep.
Changing your body is not easy. It's gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna feel a little bit stressed sometimes too. But what's your long-term goal for you and people around you so you enjoy time with them, you enjoy working, and you have good attitude?
Yeah. And I tell people you have to have your mind right before you come in here. You know, we get a lot of people that are scared and they're afraid to eat enough, but and I do it too, but it's every day. I'm waking up and I'm doing this for myself so I can be a better all those other things, and just do it day by day by day. And you're gonna fall off the wagon because you're human. You know, you're gonna have a dessert or you're gonna have a drink or 20 and feel horrible about yourself the next day, and then the next day, and it snowballs until now you just gained 20 pounds last year.
But you said, like you said, if you stay it for a week and you have a rough weekend, you still might lose weight because you spent that whole week doing it. The accumulation of your routines and your habits allows you to have sometimes an off day because you're human.
Right.
It allows you
Because
not
you're
to
human.
have that down effect, so don't beat yourself up over it.
Exactly.
Huge.
And that goes back to what Candace talked about. You know, can you live in that goal? If you want to be 135 pounds, you know, can you sustain that? Or, you know, is it more, maybe you're more sustained at 145?
And can you spend the time, the weeks and months to get there and stay there?
Yep.
So your body can recalculate where your balance point should be, and help maintain that so that becomes your new health point.
Yep.
Right.
Just making words in my head, I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's a good health
Set
point.
point weight.
Set point weight,
Set.
see, she knows all the
Set
good
point
words.
weight.
I'm like cat and dog, that's all I know. You guys have a great system here. You guys can
Thank
take
you.
someone and break them down to where either internally and scientifically, where their body composition is structurally and chemically, so it allows them to understand what's going on inside and how those results what you're getting at now.
Yep.
So what they want is a result, yes, but looking at inside, the whole picture's foundation allows them to build a workout routine, a nutrition program for one too, so their body can get healthy and stay healthy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's it for me.
Awesome.
Thank you for the good show.
Yeah, we
All right,
appreciate it.
Candace?
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, camera people in the back.
Woo.
Have a good day.